Bears make sneaky good signing. This is big for the Bears as we move forward into week 2. We're going to discuss the latest and greatest from the Chicago Bears. Welcome to Bears Digest, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Dylan Guinzy. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. It looks like 67.5% of you have not done so. So to stay up to date on news, rumors, breaking information as it comes to us, please hit that bell so you are here with me. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a signing here as about 45 minutes ago on Friday, September 12th, just 2 days before week 2 against the Detroit Lions. And it was a new signing that is this man right here. Jake Moody from the 49ers was just released after their first game of the year, and now he has been picked up by the Bears. We're going to discuss what this means, why it is actually good for this team, and what it means going forward. So, as Jordan Schultz just released about 45 minutes ago, former 49ers kicker Jake Moody is signing with the Bears practice squad. Added competition for Cairo Santos. This is why this is big and a good signing for the Chicago Bears. Signing Jake Moody is not to revolutionize the kicker position for the Chicago Bears. This is not prime Harrison Butker or Justin Tucker, things like that. What this does is finally lets Cairo Santos know that his job is not safe, right? He has not been good. He doesn't have a huge leg. His accuracy is pretty good for the most part. I'll give him that. He's not a terrible kicker by any means, but he has not been good enough, and especially with the deep balls. And, he missed a kick on Monday night. It was a chip shot field goal, as we call it now. If you watched that Thursday night game last night, I believe it was Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels on the call, and they mentioned that 50-yard field goals are now chip shots for NFL teams. And as many of you guys probably did, I was sitting there on the couch and I was like, yeah, that's not a chip shot for the Bears, and it's not a chip shot for Cairo Santos. So adding competition into the kicking room, make sure that Cairo Santos locks in a little bit more. He's had a safe job here for however long now, and he got an extension recently, which was a pretty poor move on Ryan Poles' part, and they didn't really add any competition. He's always just kind of been there and been our kicker and had that job solidified. What this does, bringing in another kicker for competition, especially somebody with a much bigger leg than Cairo Santos, this lets it be known that his job is not safe. They will cut you. They will get rid of you if they need to. Money does not matter. If you're not performing for this team, you're not going to be on here for very long. So that's why I think this is very significant and very big that Ben Johnson and staff realized that there was a issue with the kicking spot. And although we might not be able to fix it right away with a signing or anything like that, or just bring in a new starter and plug and play, we can add competition and we can make sure that we are getting the most possible out of the kicking position on this team. And Cairo Santos has got to step it up. We can't be going for it on every single 4th and 2 and 4th and 3 and passing up field goals that are 45 to 50 yards long. So we can't keep doing that. Obviously, I want to be aggressive as an offense. I want to keep going for it as well. Ben Johnson does too. But you do have to take some points when they're there for you sometimes. And that miss that Cairo Santos had, honestly, you could point to a lot of different things that kind of switched that game around. But that miss for him, just in my mind when I was watching the game, I was like, yeah, this is kind of where it goes downhill and, kind of where we lose the game. So, obviously at that point, it would probably only have made the game tied there at the end. But nonetheless, that kick missed there, that should have been a relatively easy kick for Cairo, kind of started flipping that game around. So adding in Jake Moody as competition is big for the Chicago Bears going forward. Just touching on his stats here, guys, nothing crazy. He is not an all-star by any means, but he was a highly drafted kicker, and he does have a big leg. That doesn't mean he's incredibly accurate from the long stuff, but he does have a powerful leg that the 49ers drafted quite high for a kicker. So last year he played 14 games. He was 24 of 34, 70%. Not ideal there. 9 of 9 from inside the arc, 20 to 29 yards, 5 of 5, 30 and 39, 6 of 11, 40 of 49, and 4 of 9 from 50 plus. Now, if we're talking Cairo Santos terms, I would say throughout this year, if he were to kick 950-plus yard field goals, I'm not sure that he would even make 4 or anywhere close. Now, I could be getting ahead of myself on that. I just don't think he has the leg, and when he has to put more into kicks, he gets way less accurate from that point. Cairo Santos is great from inside, just like, Jake Moody was, inside 39, under the 40 mark or even a little bit over the 40 mark. Cairo is totally fine. So that's not really what we're doing here. We're not really bringing in a specific replacement for him, but we're bringing in competition and somebody that does have a much stronger leg. So in case, if something were to happen, we can bring him in, we can sign him up, and we can have him kick some long balls. Now, you want your kicker to be full-time. You don't want to start rotating in kickers and things like that. That doesn't work in the NFL. So I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying if it comes to a time where they're like, hey, we're making Cairo inactive for this game, we're calling up Jake, and we're going to see if we can kick some longer field goals. I don't know. Not sure how that all works in the grand scheme of things. But Jake Moody has a bigger leg, and obviously he was released for a reason from the 49ers. He missed a lot of kicks. He's not very accurate in the grand scheme of things, but he's going to be somebody that can come in and at least add competition for Cairo. So that is the main thing for this team and what we need. And I just am happy that they are doing something about a position of need. We've stressed so many times that they needed to add more to the running back room. They never did, and then it sucked on game 1. And they haven't added anybody and things like that. Now, we're going to give more reps to Kyle Monungai. We're going to see how he goes and things like that. I think it's going to get better. But it's just the overall point of it. Ryan Poles and Ben not getting in there and just adding more depth and adding more competition at positions of need is going to cost you down the line. And we're already seeing the fruits of that. So just adding Jake Moody is going to get more competition into this kicking room, and I am excited to see what that brings. Next thing here I just wanted to cover real quick is a tweet from Zach Pearson. He is a Bears writer right when this signing happened. Competition isn't always a bad thing, but Moody is 6 of 12 from 50-plus in his career. So again, like I said before, the guy's not accurate. He's not a sharpshooter by any means, but he does have a leg, and he's attempted those long field goals in-game before, and he can push Cairo Santos to be better. So let me know what you guys think down below about adding Jake Moody, what this means for the kicking room. Obviously, this is not some Hall of Fame signing. This is something that's going to change, the outlook of this team. We know that. But it's at least showing that this front office and Ben do have kind of a zero-tolerance policy to not performing to your abilities. We saw Cairo Santos also not have the leg to go out and kick it through the end zone when we needed it to save time on Monday. Ben was like, yeah, that was the plan. We told him to kick it through the end zone, and the dude kicked it as hard as he could, and he couldn't make it anywhere close to the end of the end zone. It was like 3 yards into the end zone. So with that being said, it just shows that they don't have, any tolerance for poor performance and guys that just simply don't have the ability for what they need. So bringing in somebody else at least gives that an option, or at least allows them to give him a look. Maybe he does get cut after just 1 week, after they try him out, or after he's been on this practice squad for a little bit. You never know. But at least they're showing you that they are wanting this to get better, and they know that they have a weakness at that spot. So thank you guys for joining once again. Let me know down below what you guys think of the Jake Moody signing. And we are just 2 days away from week 2 against the Detroit Lions. That is at noon. And that game is going to be a tough one. So we got to go out and get a win. We got to find some way to scrounge out something. And we'll see how that goes. And I'll be back with a recap after that game on Sunday. But for now, thank you guys for joining. And as always, bear down.